I think the view that you can divide the fossil record neatly into humans and non-humans, and all the things, Australopithecines and habilis are actually basically funny kinds of apes, and all of the people later, like Erectus and Neanderthals, are basically funny kinds of non-humans. I don't think that works when you get to something like, say, Homo habilis. A habilis has a brain size that's greater than that of any ape, any fossil ape we have as well. And certainly in the dentition, habilis was human.
Homo habilis came to fame with the discovery by Richard Leakey of a controversial skull named 1470 that made headlines as the world's oldest man. He was called Handyman because he was believed to be handy with tools, and he's the next supposed ape man. He's said to resemble a chimpanzee with a brain the size of a gorilla.
It is the organization of the brain, not the size per se, that matters. It's the way the brain is wired that makes it human. If you had a gorilla brain and had some kind of a machine that you could blow it up 4 times to 1,600 cubic centimeters, you wouldn't have a human brain. You'd have just a king-sized gorilla brain. You'd be just as dumb as the gorilla is now.
So this is 1470. It indeed has a large brain size, but there are also features in the face and other features which just remind very much to some Australopithecine features. It's just a variety, maybe, of an Australopithecine with a big brain and a typical Australopithecine face.
At University College London, a research group led by Dutch anatomist Dr. Fred Spoor found something unexpected.
What the organobalance tells us is that this creature was perhaps even less bipedal than Australopithecines. And that's obviously very controversial.
CAT scans of the inner ear show that the semicircular canals, which determine balance and locomotion, are more like those of baboons than of humans.
The organobalance is situated somewhere here in the sides of the ear opening. And if you look at the organobalance, then a very prominent bit of it are these 3 semicircular canals. And those turn out to be quite different in dimensions in humans than in other primates.
It's claimed that Homo habilis walked more erect than his supposed evolutionary ancestors, the Australopithecines, like the famous Lucy.
What you call Homo habilis, the kind of often seen as a kind of intermediate species between the Australopithecines and Homo erectus. And that was actually a surprise what we found there, because what we found in the size of the semicircular canals and the whole structure of the inner ear, it wasn't intermediate at all between what we saw in Homo erectus and the Australopithecines. Interestingly enough, I got support from other findings in East Africa. They found that the limb bones are less adapted for bipedalism, for walking on 2 legs, and are more ape-like than Australopithecines, than, for instance, Lucy. It was actually less evolved, you can say, in the direction of what you see in humans than what you see in Australopithecines. That's not what you would expect if you want to put it all nicely on one line. The traditional view of that's human evolution kind of evolved in one line with us at the end.
So is Homo habilis truly an ancestor? Many experts agree that this ape man is actually a mixture of bones from many different species.
I finally decided Homo habilis was made up of at least 2, if not more, different groups that do not belong together. It was an assemblage of several different types of animals put together and made into one. Homo habilis is a mess. And along with that goes the main transition from the Australopithecines to Homo erectus, modern humans.
Just because we say habilis is not a human ancestor, maybe, as I would say for Neanderthals as well. It doesn't mean that makes them apes.
I guess a majority of researchers now feel that what we used to call Homo habilis is not a single species, but is a kind of waste bin of various fossils that are grouped together and kind of intermediate between Australopithecines and Homo erectus, and let's call it all one name, and we don't know. But more and more people recognize it's at least two species, maybe even more.
Yes, habilis is a problem taxon. I think there are at least two species represented. And I think we haven't any longer got the clear-cut progression from habilis to erectus.
So where is the transition? According to the evolutionist scheme, archaic humans descended from Homo erectus, upright man, the next supposed ape man.
The appearance of real humans in the fossil record, that comes with the species Homo erectus. And this creature had a large brain. It was definitely a good stone tool maker. There's the beginnings of evidence of hunting in the fossil record. And its skeleton was much more human in proportions.
Homo erectus is truly human. All of the things that we would expect of the archaeological record to show humanity have been found. Stone tools in association, about half of the at about half of the sites. The controlled use of fire, in about 1/10 of the sites. Burial in some of the Australian sites. The decoration of the bones with red ochre, together with the fact that the brain size is fully within modern humans. We are dealing with true humanity. By true humanity, I mean descendants of people created by God on day 6 and fully created in the image of God.
I believe that Homo erectus belongs to the basic type of humans. It has got specific human-like features and quite a number. You could place them together with the other human forms into one basic type, so they are true humans.
Yes, I mean, Homo erectus is truly human. I have no difficulty with that. By calling it Homo erectus, we're putting it in the genus Homo. It is a human. It's more primitive. It's earlier in time, but indeed could have changed through time. But yes, erectus was human.
Now, there is a difference. And the difference is, among other things, the rather heavy brow ridges that they have in keeping with Neanderthal. I personally feel that Homo erectus is just a smaller version of Neanderthal.
Homo erectus has been depicted as a primitive, stooped ape man, but Fred Spoor's CAT scans show they walked just as we do.
What we found there is that their organal balance was completely modern human-like. They had this enlargement of the canals. It's really like us. And that doesn't come as a surprise, because if we look at the whole, we know the skeleton, especially from Africa, we know the skeleton of Homo erectus pretty well. And it's very clear that they really look like us. They're below the neck. They're very similar to us, and so that their organal balance is the same as well, and that they probably made any kind of locomotion movement that we did. That they were sophisticated in their running and everything. The question then is obviously, what happens in between? Where is the transition? And that was so far quite problematic.
After the Piltdown hoax, there were no more ape man discoveries in England until headlines announced that Boxgrove man was found in 1986. At least a fossilized tooth and part of a chewed human shin bone had been discovered among scattered animal fossils on a coastal plain near Boxgrove.